I'm gonna dive in here. Got good visibility. Water's really high, so I'll be able to poke my head under some of these mangroves. It's getting warm. Water should be nice, so let's see what's in there. So here we have a couple of horseshoe crabs keeping up the population. They actually are caught and they extract their blood for medical purposes. I'm not sure what they use it for, but it's very expensive. Alright, so once I swam across the little pass there to this island, there was a small branch, not very big at all, and it just had tons of life on it. As you can see here, quite a few snapper, and there was a nice school of spadefish on it, and it was just amazing how much activity was in this little shady spot. Here you can see really not much. It was a couple nice branches and then a dead branch in the water, and just creating some structure and shade. You got a blue crab in the center of the screen, just kind of hanging out underneath everything, looking for something to drop his way. But really cool. Fish bring more fish, and right there, all those fish just took off right as the spadefish came in, and there was like a loud thump. I don't know what it was, and that sound kind of scared the snapper, and all of a sudden the spadefish showed up. You got a sheephead, a couple sheepheads there. And here that blue crab starts coming over to me, investigate, see what in the world I'm doing over here. Claws out, guns blazing, ready for a fight. There's a snook. There's some of the smaller spadefish. But it's just amazing how much stuff right here, just in this one little spot. If I'd have swam left or right 30 yards, there really wasn't much either way. But this is where the party was at. So here I'm just stirring up the bottom with my fin and kind of creating a little bit of a chum line there just to see what they would do. And they came over and investigated it, kind of hung around. Here's some of these little water bugs, look like little mosquito larvae, but they're not. I'm not sure what they are, just skimming on the top. So after I'd stirred up the mud a little bit, they kind of started coming closer to me, and here was a couple of them. These were the two of the bigger ones, and these are really big spadefish. I don't know how well you can tell from the camera, but they're really a good sized fish, and they're okay to eat. They're not the best, but they are definitely edible, and harder to target because they have just kind of smaller mouths. They like to eat jellyfish and other small things like shrimp and stuff, but not the most easily targeted fish. But they just got real bold, and they were just coming right up to me, and this guy here just came back and forth and really kind of looking at me, and not sure what I was doing, but it was pretty neat. And here you see the other smaller ones in the school. They're a little more defined with their fins, a little darker color, a little prettier. They get kind of faded out as they get bigger. But after this, I'm gonna swim down to another area where I had seen some redfish earlier, and I'll show you a nice redfish that I caught on camera, and some more crabs. There's quite a bit of crabs out there today. Here's a nice oyster patch, and a couple of sheepheads swimming in there looking for crabs and critters to eat. Here's seagrass. So we got a lot of different terrain all in one spot. We've got mangroves, we've got oyster shells, oyster beds, sandbars, and the seagrass. They all combine to make a great habitat. Here we've got two crabs getting ready to fight. This guy's already lost one of his arms. Kind of staring each other down. Here's another blue crab hiding back under the oysters. They call them a blue crab because of the little bit of blue there you can see on their back legs. Here I'm trying to get a fishing line out, cutting it with an oyster. Here was a spot. It's pretty cool. If you saw my fishing video where I was fishing on this trip, you saw this already, but it felt like something was watching me, and I turned to my left, and here he was, this spadefish just hanging over all this algae, and didn't seem like he really wanted me around. He kind of swam around me a couple times and kept coming back to that spot, just waiting for me to leave. And here's the redfish I was telling you about. It's kind of murky, but he just went cruising by here, hanging out with all these little snapper. Well, that's it. Those spadefish were cool. That's the biggest spadefish I've ever seen. In person, anyway. They're just hanging right there with me. They didn't want to leave. They're kind of like looking at the camera lens. I'm not sure what they were thinking. I know they eat jellyfish. I wonder if it was reflecting a little bit or something making them wanting to check it out. But nice school of snapper. Might have to do some spear fishing. Anyway, it's kind of chilly. Shivering a little bit, but nice out in the sun. Anyway, that's a look under the waterline on the harbor, and I'll see you on the next one.